Good afternoon, welcome to another day of Dota 2. We've got ourselves two matches. First of all, we're going to start off with the best of one between neXtPlease Gaming and the Retry. It's a loser bracket match, so only one team will remain in the tournament and the other one will get knocked out as second team of the tournament. After that, we're going to have our blockbuster of the day. It's a best of three between Roxkiss and neXtKZ, who, by the way, also faced each other yesterday, in which case Roxkiss actually took 2 games off neXtKZ, but neXtKZ got plenty of preparation to maybe get some revenge today. First of all, though, the best of one, neXtPlease versus the Retry is actually on the way. Let's see if we can get ourselves into that draft. And yes, we can. And we are even going to have the audio on for that. There we go. Fixed. So let's take a look at what they have got in store for us so far. We have got the Retry on the Radiant side. We've also got neXtPlease Gaming on the Dire side. With interesting bans, by the way. They've picked up, or they banned out the Slark for the first ban. neXtPlease Gaming did. And actually, I just realized that perhaps when I'm solo casting, which is what I'm doing for this first match, perhaps I shouldn't be, like, I should be just keeping it easy for myself. So, you know, I don't have to multitask that much. We'll keep that for when Vickerman joins me again. So yes, we have neXtPlease picking up Nyx Assassin first. But first of all, the Slark ban. Not really a hero I was expecting to see banned out here from neXtPlease. Not really a hero that we have seen playing that dominant of a role lately, to be honest. But apparently they don't want the Retry to get that. We've got a Pugna as well as a Visage and an Invoker removed as well. Timbersaw first pick up for the Retry, and I kind of like that one. It's a solid pick that you can use in different roles and that you basically can use in any kind of lineup you want to. Heavy ganking, fighting, passive. He's a great turtler, he can be initiator, he can be anything. And by the way, if you hear some background noises, that could be as there are people in my house. And a cat, apparently. Sorry, Diego, almost forgot about you. We've got a Crystal Maiden and Nyx Assassin picked up by neXtPlease, and solid combination for them as well. I actually kind of like neXtPlease so far a bit more, because Nyx Assassin not only is, of course, support, but we've seen him on offlanes plenty of times before. And they are a bit more diverse than what the Retry is so far. And on top of that, neXtPlease has got 2 disables, while the Retry now with the Venomancer pickup as well doesn't have any disables right now. So we'll see if the Retry can get themselves some disables. As we have a Tusk pickup. Well, we've seen Tusk before, actually. It's not the first time that we see him in this tournament. It hasn't really worked out, though. Interesting that they still ban it. Perhaps just don't want to deal with the possible aggression that could come out from it. Not too convinced. Luna and Doom banned out by the Retry, knowing that neXtPlease still need their core heroes, and Luna, of course, one of the stronger ones right now. And we've heard a lot of casters about her maybe being a bit too strong. Not in my opinion. You can always find a way to deal with her, but removed this time as well as a Death Prophet on the side of neXtPlease. It's unorthodox bans from my point of view, that's for sure. And normally I don't see Death Prophets or Tusks or Slarks in my games that I cast, so interesting. But neXtPlease, we're going to assume that they have done their homework and they know exactly what the Retry would have wanted to have. They are, of course, the professional gamers and not me. neXtPlease, their turn to pick. And they're taking their time, actually. Both teams having still quite a lot of time left in their bonus time. If they want to use it, they can. And looks like they want to use it. There we go. I actually wouldn't mind seeing the more aggressive mid players. Now, both these teams, especially for neXtPlease, a kind of unknown play style. And normally you have an edge in that regard for your opponent team, purely because your opponent doesn't really know what to expect. You can take advantage of that by, for example, have a super aggressive draft, super aggressive play style where you make sure that your opponent never gets anything done at all. Now, this hero doesn't really fit into that. The Magnus is, of course, a fairly aggressive hero, but does need a decent start. Can also be offlaning, not ideal, but it is a possibility. I have to say I'm not entirely convinced, as I do know that the Retry overall is a team that is pretty spot on with positioning, and I know that some people might laugh at that because obviously it is a PGG with sometimes his Enigma, but no, they're pretty decent with positioning, and Magnus often only gets to be that big impact hero if other players don't really know or aren't really prepared for the Magnus. and the Retry, I haven't seen them having that problem just yet. Ancient Deprivation for the Retry now as well. The Gale can actually set up for the Cold Feet proc, but the one thing that is more important for the Ancient Deprivation is his Chilling Touch. And I actually hope that we're going to see maybe even an aggressive Tri-Lane from them. Venomancer, of course his attack damage got a bit nerfed, but the Gale is still very strong, and if it hits, it will allow you to get more auto attacks off, in which case Chilling Touch comes into play again. So that is going to be a very strong factor if it is an aggressive Tri-Lane, because that remains to be seen. Now with an Anti-Mage pickup for neXtPlease, I would actually hope that they would play an aggressive Tri-Lane. Not because they might be able to kill Anti-Mage, because that will be very difficult, and Crystal Maiden is a very decent, safe Tri-Laning hero as well, but because they at least would be able to maybe slow Anti-Mage down. Right now, neXtPlease has a pretty cookie-cutter lineup with an Anti-Mage, will be safe lane farming, Magnus will be creating space in the mid lane, and later on, of course, if he gets a Blink Dagger, he can do it there as well, but overall, pretty straightforward, and it is straightforward because we've seen it work time and time again, and therefore, everybody also knows how you disrupt it. An aggressive Tri-Lancer is definitely a way to do this. For now, though, the Retry pick up a Puck who has an easy time up against the Magnus. Might be dodging some shockwaves with his phase shift. Is, of course, range versus melee. Magnus shouldn't die. That's the main thing here. He shouldn't lose the lane, but he's not going to win it. Puck is going to win the lane. And Magnus is not going to die. He's going to get experience, which is probably the most important thing there. But other than that, unless there's ganks, there's not really going to be that much action mid lane. And even then, Puck is one of those heroes that is the escape artist. So good job, good luck trying to gank him with phase shift, with orbs. Have to really bait those abilities out before actually going on him. And we still, by the way, don't really know what that Nyx Assassin is going to be like. If he's going to be on the offlane or if he's going to be a support. And I think what the Retry is going to ban out right now is going to give us an idea about what they are expecting the Nyx Assassin to be. And they actually ban out the Darkseer, so they are expecting the Nyx Assassin to be a support and then have the offlaner for someone else. With the Clockwork already banned out, it is a Nature's Prophet that is there for neXtPlease, who they will pick up for the offlane. A lot of offlaners banned out. I wasn't expecting the Clockwork to get banned out, to be honest, because from my point of view, the Retry still needs their solo core hero, their carry. Not really solo, I guess. But Timbersaw is normally a solo laner. Gyrocopter is of course still in the pool if they want to pick that one up.
10 seconds remaining.
And there is the Faceless Void. That is gonna be there. Anyways, we will jump ourselves into the draft in about 10 seconds or so. I will be back. 2 seconds. 10 seconds needed though. Okay, never mind, I'm back. There we go. neXtPlease versus the Retry. I hope you're all ready. I was expecting a lot of aggression. It's an elimination match, and you know, it's CIS teams. I know I say CIS, and neXtPlease Gaming is a Romanian team, but still a very active team. We saw them, of course, in the first round of the Yard White Festival, and they were very active in the early stages of the game. They ganked and they got ahead on their game. Every single game that they had, they were doing very well in the early stages of the game and just fell off later on. So this lineup is not really typical for them, in my opinion. And then you have Anti-Mage versus Faceless Void. It is like it's there we go. It is like it's TI2. TI1 even, maybe. Although then it was Anti-Mage versus Morphling, I guess. But somewhere in between that, I'll have to see it. I actually like Faceless Void a bit more than Anti-Mage lately. We'll see if that's going to be working in the Retry's favor, though. We have Rustvy playing the Crystal Maiden on the side of neXtPlease. Kiano will be playing the Magnus in the mid lane. Synergy, the Nature's Prophet, already created some treants for himself, and he'll send them to scout the Radiant jungle. We have Red Light playing the Anti-Mage. And last but not least, we'll be playing the Nyx Assassin, and it will be Illusionist who will be playing that Nyx Assassin, so that is going to be our dire team. On the Radiant side, we've got the Retry. Of course, it's PGG's team, who is the captain, playing the Timbersaw in this game, so we'll be on the solo lane. We have the Son of Arteezy, who has been going under the Son of Arteezy this entire tournament, so he's playing the Puck. 1, 2, 3 will playing the Ancient Apparition, Android P on the Venomancer, and Nubik, the Faceless Void. And now I am mostly interested to see if this is going to be an aggressive tri-lane or not. I hope it will be, but I don't think it will be anymore. Not with the Faceless Void there. This is going to be safe lane farming versus safe lane farming, and it's all going to come down to the supports trying to create space. And there comes the first big issue that the Retry actually has. Because even though Ancient Apparition is, you know, with his chilling touch, very strong, and he can create a lot of momentum with if you have the time to attack, he's not the best ganker. And Nyx Assassin and Crystal Maiden just outshine him in that regard. And on top of that, even though Nyx Assassin is fairly level dependent, not as level dependent as Ancient Apparition is. So a bit of a trouble perhaps for the Retry, especially with me just saying that the neXtPlease, they have been running a lot of aggression lanes, not necessarily aggressive tri-lanes, but just aggressive ganking. And wait a second. What's going on with some kind of market Dota net that's not on my stream? Don't know anything of that, so don't know anything about market net, Dota net or something, so sorry. Anyways, distracted by the chat. If there's any issues with the chat or with the sound or anything like that, please let me know. And I will toggle my sound on and off in Dota TV. There we go, now it should be audible, yeah. Fixed sound in Dota TV in 2 minutes. As that was that's an issue. I just had to toggle it on and off. Welcome people inside the Dota TV client. Thank you for buying the ticket, and of course if you do buy the ticket you get yourself an awesome courier there as well. Also, we do have an unpause coming out here. The Retry from the Radiant side will finally reveal how they are going to run their lane. So far though, actually they're not going to reveal anything just yet. They're just going to go to to the top lane with every single hero in their lineup. I think the only thing we can safely say is that the puck is going mid. And looking at the items, I mean, PGG most likely is going to be sticking around here on the top lane with Nubik rotating bottom. It all depends how aggressive they want to be with the safe tri-lane coming out. And actually, one extra advantage that neXtPlease has with running this safe tri-lane compared to the safe tri-lane that the Retry would have is that their Crystal Maiden, of course, is a hero that can very decently get experience and farm inside the jungle, something that Venomancer by himself and Ancient Apparition by himself is not really able to do. Maybe with the wards from the Venomancer it's possible, but it's still going very slow, a lot slower than what a Crystal Maiden would be. And that's Treant. Lucky Treant coming out for neXtPlease, scouting out that the whole team of the Retry is there, as it will try to run for his life on his little short legs. Mushroom Man, run! Nah, he'll be okay. Pause coming out from neXtPlease as, well, it's no competitive game without pauses, of course. I mean, yeah. Inventory, keys. I guess he has to set some keys, I guess. Always problems. Yep, BGG. That is true. Game problems. There we go. It's a tough life being a gamer. They are cursed today. Well, that's not a good sign if you're gonna play a best out of one for an elimination match, right? Not a good sign at all. Anti-mage. Aggressive positioning. Interesting that he's not gonna try to block his wave. And neither is Nyx Assassin nor Crystal Maiden, who are actually now hanging around middle. They placed a ward. They're gonna see where the rune spawns. It was actually, well, it was a regen rune somewhere apparently, because it got destroyed. But nonetheless, it is gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be a fairly passive game. Sorry, people. I guess if we're like I talked about neXtPlease and their advantages in the early game with their supports, but there's also kind of an advantage for the Retry because of course Magnus is easier to gank than a Puck. Both have an escape mechanism, and both can get away, but Puck is the escape artist. He can do that way easier than what the Magnus can do it like. So we'll see if we're gonna see something like that. It looks like, actually, never mind that. Hello, aggressive tri-lane. Thank you very, very much. PGG will play up against Synergy here on this bottom lane, and then we have got our Faces Void farming up against an Anti-Mage. Well, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be very interesting, as Ancient Apparition already mentioned Chilling Touch. He hasn't skilled anything just yet, which is a good call, because perhaps if a Gale comes out, it might be better to go for something like Cold Feet, so he knows, like, he can get some more hits in, or at least get a disable in or something like that. But this is troublesome for Red Light. He can't get any last hits for now, as Nubik is the one to dominate this lane, and Nyx Assassin is helping out middle. Nyx Assassin is trying to create some momentum for this Magnus to farm up, and to be honest, it's working okay-ish, but it's not enough just yet. Magnus is having a bottle. He has got 6 last hits, but Puck has got 5 last hits. It's out of regen, I guess, and doesn't have a bottle just yet, but it's not really harassed too much just yet, and I am kind of worried if it's going to be enough, as this top trial lane for the retry should be working out in their favor, especially with the supports. Oh, there we go. That's going to be our first action right now. neXtPlease, 2 minutes in, pop their first smoke. Now, the question is, are they going to try for the Puck, who is almost out of mana, or are they going to rotate towards that top lane? Oh, there's someone comes in to take the rune. It is the Ancient Apparition. Can they take him down? No, they're not going to try. They're going to go for the Puck instead. Puck, who is way up far on the wrong side of the river, gets cooled. Phase Shift is there as well. Impalable still hit on the outskirts, and that's going to be your first blood right there. The Crystal Maiden right click. In comes 1, 2, 3 though, with the Cold Feet on the Templar, or sorry, the Nyx Assassin, who will drop. But Ancient Apparition will give his life for that as well, and actually that makes that a double kill for the Crystal Maiden. 2 for 1. Crystal Maiden getting harassed a bit by the creep wave and the illusions, but will manage to live through it all. A very solid play coming out for neXtPlease. Yeah, they lose their Nyx Assassin, but their mid lane, 2 assists, I guess, so some extra experience for him. He will be forced back to base, and in the meantime, Puck, of course, is already back with full health, full mana, so he'll get some extra last hits here, but that experience gain that Magnus just got, which is actually not that much by the looks of it, considering he was, I guess, surrounded by a couple of his teammates, but he should be able to have at least the rest of the lane pretty decently, especially if the supports continue to come for him, as there's Cold Feet perhaps proccing? No. Red Light just blinks himself away, and that's going to be Cold Feet and Chilling Touch skilled for him. Level 3 for the Ancient Apparition, who've got I mean, he got solo experience for the Nyx Assassin kill, which is really great for him. If it's enough, we'll see. You can tell I'm a bit doubtful for this lineup, but I just hope that neXtPlease can continue on with the aggression, because they are the one who create the momentum now if they can. And they need to create some space for that Anti-Mage as well, because last hit-wise, he's sitting on 4, while Faces Void is sitting on 20. Yes, he gets some jungle creeps with that as well, but the jungle creeps, he's actually killing a big camp, so that's extra gold for him. And this is quite troublesome for neXtPlease if they can't get their Magnus up to scratch. Nature's Prophet, great hero to have as well, of course, and I haven't mentioned him just yet, and he can be that awesome turtle hero, that awesome split push hero. But he needs time to get online, and he can't. Like, he needs to, that time needs to be bought for him, and Magnus can do that. But he needs the time for now. He is doing decently though, 14 for 7 here, as PGG sitting on 15 to 5, so even lane here on this bottom lane. However, Timbersaw has got a slight edge over Nature's Prophet in terms of being able to be aggressive 1 versus 1 in this lane earlier against the Nature's Prophet than Nature's Prophet can against him. And on top of that, I mean, Nature's Prophet, his escape route, sprouting himself up and then teleporting out. Well, that's not going to happen if you're up against a Timbersaw, because 1 Whirling Death and those trees are gone. Gone indeed. Anti-Mage, 8 last hits. Woohoo, almost double the amount of last hits than what he had before, but he's still not going to be able to keep up with his Faces Void. The lucky thing is, an Anti-Mage, if he gets his Battle Fury up, or when he gets his Battle Fury up, he should be able to farm faster than a Faces Void can. Purely because he can flash farm a lot better than a Faces Void would be able to, and that's why he normally is the preferred farmer over Faces Void. Then again, Faces Void, once he reaches level 6, he'll have a Chronosphere and Anti-Mage can't go anywhere, and if he's far behind, he's gonna get killed off every single time. Cold Feet coming out on the Crystal Maiden, nice impale though, hitting up on all 3 heroes. Crystal Maiden will still fall, but at least they get a Venomancer in return, and perhaps Anti-Mage can get himself another kill. Yep, he does. Nyx Assassin going for Nubik, and a Magnus coming in with the Haste Rune, 3 for 1. 1 Crystal Maiden going down, but in return, They get the entire tri lane, shutting them down, giving extra farm to the anti-mage, who got one last hit in those 3 kills, as in one last hit on the kills, that is, so extra gold for him. However, Midas picked up by Faceless Void. Does mean that his first Chronospheres are going to rely a lot on what his teammates can do from the outskirts of the Chronospheres, but nonetheless, you know, he's got his Midas. He's still doing really well. And killing him off once might not be enough. Although I'm gonna expect them to try again, of course. Impale comes out on the Veno, just harassed, but oh, Spike Carapace goes on. But there's already a block being created by Nubik, and that's gonna be the Cold Feet proccing and a kill going the way of the Ancient Apparition. Well, this is going fast again, the direction of the retry, as we do have our first rotation of the puck as well, going towards the bottom lane. Son of Arteezy is going to find a Magnus heading right there. Magnus, who really wanted to get that good RP in on the Timber Saw, gets scouted out, and right now has to be careful. Timber Chain does not hit, there's no trees there, that's a skewer, that's no RP. The silence comes in from Son of Arteezy, and he can't get it off. Maybe now, PGG, he gets him, in comes an Impale as well. They should be able to get the Timber Saw at least, and Puck, all he can do is stand by and watch and actually back off, as it is now a clear outnumber situation for him. 6-4-3, neXtPlease, laying down the pressure here on this bottom lane, and trying to create space. That's all they need to do. That late game anti-mage, he has to have some farm. Right now, the kills that he got is basically his only farm. But if this Magnus can create more momentum for him and can basically maybe choke the retry a bit in terms of farming space. Oh, PGG, what did you do? Why did you teleport in? You're dead again. And that was like a plain mistake. In comes the supports right now, but the tower will still fall. Nature's Prophet will still get the credit. And actually, Android, he does not have boots. He might be in a lot of trouble right here. A Gale comes out from the side, but that doesn't matter. Spells being landed across the tree line left and right, but Venomancer is the one to go down. That was a brilliant shockwave coming out for the Magnus. Gets himself another kill, and that teleports to the bottom lane. Just suicide teleports right there. Not a smart idea. As Puck, though, he's trying to make the best of a bad situation. He is farming middle again. 30 for 12 last hits, not doing bad, and is actually, of course, doing better than the Magnus, but Magnus hasn't died yet, has got 3 kills, 3 assists, been part of 6 of 8 kills. In comes an Invisibility Rune and TP out for Puck. The Vendetta doesn't scout him out anymore, and Puck with the Invis Rune, he's now on top lane. Of course, with the Silence, he's one of the heroes that is awesome for ganking up on the Anti-Mage. Normally, you would think that it's only the case if he has a Blink Dagger, or when you have got an Invisibility Rune where you can stand next to the hero and silence him up before you can do anything. Then again, though, if he runs away from you, then you can't really do anything, which is something that Son of Arteezy is finding out right now. So there we go. Three people actually farming in the same camp. Oh, there's the Puck. But his Invisibility Rune is almost disappearing. He has to be very careful. Of course he has a phase shift and an orb.
Radiant's middle tower,
and there's no wards up around here for neXtPlease, so yeah, I guess he's okay. This is the only observer ward that's up. There's only one. In comes the smoke, and that one might have been scouted out by this ward here on the side, but no ping's coming out. It's actually, maybe the courier is the one that's gonna reveal everything, but there's also no vision there. Nature's Prophet is still farming in the Radiant jungle. We're gonna see a Vendetta maybe to start it all off. Looking for PGG again, who's now level 7. He's gonna start off with a Vendetta, Frostbite into Impale. No hope for him. There's no way he's gonna get out of that. And the teleport's coming in. Will be coming in too late. And actually one even got cancelled. Venomancer, the only one who pulled through with his teleport. Age Deparation ult also was too late. He sent that ult from the mid lane. It's kind of, I mean, if you're gonna try to send an ult off the back of a gank like that, it's gonna go too fast. You can't do anything really. As we'll see, no pressure on the tower. It's actually just gonna be a bit of harassment and then moving backwards. You know, getting a gank like that is great, and it's actually pretty awesome, to be honest. But not getting anything off the back of it is kind of doubtful. They get space for the anti-mage, you know, space created, of course. And they get more farm maybe in the Radiant jungle, but the Radiant jungle was already farmed anyway by the Nature's Prophet. And then they roamed around a bit, not really doing that much, so it can be a question of like, if that was actually a 5-man worthy gank. Because there were 5 people there from neXtPlease. Oh, the Sentry Ward is actually scouting out the Observer Ward on the high ground. Although, the Observer Ward was about to disappear anyway, so it's not that big of an issue. Not that big of an issue at all. Nyx Assassin, we've already seen a couple of vendettas of his. He is having mana boots as well, which is a great item for him to have, even with the Crystal Maiden aura coming out. But she only got that at level 2. Interesting build here from the Crystal Maiden, as the Frostbite's only level 1, and rather went for the Crystal Nova. Higher than the Frostbite, which is not something that we often see. It's of course a very high nuke and it's great, but overall you want to have that Frostbite at a longer duration, especially for example if you're going to be seeing that Faceless Void inside a Chronosphere. You want to make sure that he cannot do anything while he is trying to kill off your teammates in the Chronosphere, which as a Crystal Maiden you're going to avoid to be in. And you know, get your Frostbite at level 2, but not right now. Teleport towards the mid lane. Might have ourselves another smoke coming out. We have no, there's no smoke. Just Vendetta gank. Just a Vendetta gank. Magnus, he has got his Blinker Dagger now as well. As, yeah, there's a central word right there. So if Son of Arteezy wants to, he can just gank. Oh, they don't care about that. He saw him standing there and he just lets it happen. Hey, ult flying in, but it's too little too late. The puck is already gone. Brilliantly done by the Nyx Assassin. Not being greedy by just going for that Vendetta hit. No, just impale and insta-go. Don't give puck any time to think. Don't give puck any time to try and dodge anything coming out from the Nyx Assassin. Really nicely done. And they didn't even use an RP for that either. Magnus coming out with the burst damage. Oh, blink RP. There it is. Up a new big Faceless Void. That's going to be him down for the second time this game. And neXtPlease, after a bit of a rough start, they might not really have an anti-mage that is really all that fat, but they are creating tons and tons of space, as PGG will go down here as well. They say they are having a bad luck day. Well, I do not agree with that. Crystal Maiden does get picked up in the mid lane by the puck, but a Dream Coil was used for that, and they get a Faceless Void and a Timber Saw in return. Yeah, that's worth it. That's very much worth it. And I have to say, I'm impressed by neXtPlease. Of course, one thing that I do have to point out again is that we have seen neXtPlease dominating early games before, and still then falling short in a later game. So if they can hold on... Oh, Android, trouble, Vendetta, Impale, will hit as well. Shockwave to finish it off. Brilliant combination right there. And it's Magnus with the last hit. And Magnus that gets out, well, and goes to Roshan. He's gonna be probably the one to take the Aegis. He is sitting on 1600 gold. I'm curious to see what he's gonna try to go for. Maybe something like a BKB, very defensive item, but at least it makes sure that while you're in a Chronosphere, which at some point you're probably gonna be, you can't really do anything, and he has to skewer himself out, knowing that he gets scouted out and that A ult is still very strong. Like the wombo combo that the Retry can pull out is very, very scary. You've got the Chronosphere, A ult follow up, Poison Nova from the Venomancer, can make people stand in chakrams, and if you've got anything from the puck coming out, you can land orbs, or you can just put down a Dream Coil right before the Chronosphere is vanishing. Pretty solid combination from the Retry, but to get there, they first need to get the Faceless Void, a bit more farm, and they first need to kind of force out a 5-on-5 teamfight. And not be surprised by neXtPlease all the time. So far though, neXtPlease ahead, 3k gold, ahead a 4k experience, and it's going strong. They're also going to be able to RP up on the Faceless Void again and getting a kill on him again. 4 for 14. In the meantime, in the middle lane, it was Android as well as Son of Arteezy and PGG trying to go for a Crystal Maiden kill again, and Freezing Field coming up. It's still a kill, but they used 3 people for that and lost their Faceless Void. And now in comes an Impale. Android P might be in some trouble. Nature's Prophet teleporting in, and Android will get picked off here. Sprout will hold him in place for a little while longer. The Dream Coil kind of getting wasted. Maybe another RP? No. Illusionist. Oh, there we go. That's Mana Boots right there. No. There it is. He has got the mana again. He doesn't have the range anymore. It doesn't matter for PGG though. He'll go down anyway because Keanu just blinks forward and gets the kill anyway. So they got a Crystal Maiden. And across the map they lost 3 heroes and used the Dream Coil as well. It's starting to go even worse for the Retry. I believe I already said from bad to worse. But yeah, this is starting to look pretty grim for them. Their blessing though, their silver lining would be that neXtPlease hasn't been able to take down that many towers off the back of their fights. There's only 1 tower down on the side of the Retry so far, which is the same amount as neXtPlease is missing. They just denied their top tower though, so a bit of favor for neXtPlease, but they did get them. Yeah, the towers are even. So even though you can get all the kills in the world, if you're not getting map control over the back of it, you know, the effectability is not as much. So we'll see if it's going to be leading into neXtPlease getting a decent lead later on in the game as well. For now, they're doing good. For now, we're going to see indeed a BKB being built for the Magnus as we see him picking up the Ogre Club. We have got Nature's Prophet going for a Shadow Blade. Good item for him, solid item, bit of a standard item as well. And I want to say thank you for neXtPlease Gaming, because seemed to be Faces Void versus Anti-Mage Farm Fest very quickly at 2 minutes already turned into ganks upon ganks upon ganks. Tower now taken by the Retry as they have grouped up as 5. Battle Fury almost done, by the way. Oh, that smoke. That was kind of obvious. In comes an Impale on 2 Illusionists, still blinking forward. Wanting to dodge something. Shockwave coming out, still clearing out the Venomancer. That's a godlike streak for the Magnus. Where is everybody? Oh, they're having a Dream Coil right there, but it doesn't matter. Nobody got hit by that one. Well, Anti-Mage did, but he blinked himself away. Blink forward. Misses the Impale, though. That's, by the way, yes, a Blink Dagger on the Nyx Assassin. We still have the Timber Saw around there, but looks like neXtPlease is letting it go. And, I mean, that was the first tower taken, or, yeah, the first real tower taken down, not denied. First time the Retry grouped up as 5. It's very scary. And, I mean, yes, it's 5 to 17, but please don't count the Retry out just yet. They still have a very solid lineup, and have we seen a Chronosphere yet? No. The potential of a Chronosphere is still immense. And the thing is that there's a Nature's Prophet who's gonna teleport out just fine because the Dream Coil was on cooldown from earlier usage, and the lack of disables is pretty eminent from the Retry's lineup. But oh, hello, Sentry Ward right next to Illusionist. They're gonna try to go for him, perhaps. They don't have a Gale though, but he now realizes he's being scouted out, and right now they don't have a Sentry there anymore. So yeah, well, okay, fine, fair enough. Nature's Prophet teleporting back middle, and that's gonna be a tier 1 down for the Retry. Maybe Chronosphere. Oh! What is this? I mean, the Wombo combo is there, but there's no heroes to really do anything with it. And Nature's Prophet still takes the tower, still takes the Venomancer, and this is an RP up on 2. Cold Feet is still there, but it doesn't matter. Freezing Field coming out. There's 1 down, 2 down. Double kill for the Anti-Mage. And a blink forward. Still, of course, the... Never mind. There's nothing there. Crystal Mane still dies, but yeah, I mean, the Dream Coil came out, but it didn't matter. Anti-Mage can still blink forward, and I mean, oh, I was gonna say that there was, like, the same thing goes for Magnus. If you have a Magnus on your team, you always have the chance for that awesomest RP, and that can, even if you're behind, can turn an entire game around. Same thing can be said for the Faces Void. If you have the awesomest Chronosphere and your whole Wombo combo works, doesn't matter how far you are behind, you'll still be able to pull back together because your team fight is just absolutely awesome. But for that to happen, you need to have a Chronosphere that actually hits. And yeah, that's not really the case. Kinda sad for the Retry. Kinda a lot of pressure on Nubik as well, as he is the one, of course, to make things happen, as he is smoked up. Use the Midas while smoked up, so perhaps I got scouted out. But we'll see. Oh, careful there, Illusionist. He's gonna pop his Vendetta, and the smoked people back off. Smart call. Chronosphere is back up again, by the way. So we might see something being attempted, because this is kind of the time where they can't stop giving up fights anymore. They have to fight. They have to win a fight, that is, as we do see Timbersaw being stalked and being killed as well. Beyond godlike, 10 to 0 to 7, no problem. This Magnus is doing a very good job. Kiano is having an amazing game here, and once again pointing out this is a best of 1. Where one of these 2 teams only will continue on in the Yard-wide festival. It's a loser bracket game. Age Separation Hold will fly in to the Roshan again and will probably prevent neXtPlease from continuing to going for it, because this is still a situation where a Chronosphere can be very deadly. But by the looks of it, with a lot of ward coverage by neXtPlease, they're not afraid. Like, they have good wards here to make sure that they can take a safe Roshan. And even Nyx Assassin is just hunting a couple of people. Ancient Deprivation, as long as he's not close by, then they know that there's nothing going on there. So Roshan is going to be taken. A ult flying in again, but doesn't really do that much anymore. Nyx Assassin, is he going to try to take down his AA? I think he can. He's going to try. Mana Burn there as well. Can still blink forward. Spike Carapace go off. He actually blinks away. Cold Feet coming out, doesn't matter. And I was almost afraid that Nubik was going to try to go for Chronosphere. In comes Kiano though. Skewers back, PGG. In comes a Chrono, and that is gonna be Magnus for the first time dead. However, his Aegis will keep him up. Anti-Mage still gets PGG, blinks himself out, and back is Magnus. He has an RP ready to use as well. Just needs to get in range. TP out from Anti-Mage will keep him safe, and Magnus actually decides not. Oh yeah, never mind. He decides to go. RP's up onto Nubik and Android. Nature's Prophet coming in to help as well. An AA ult will fly in, but it doesn't matter. Dream Coil Rift, perhaps they can still get the Nature's Prophet, but Puck is not the one to go down. Mega kill streak still taken by the Ancient Separation as Nature's Prophet shattered, but Magnus lives and the beyond godlike streak keeps being alive. Vendetta, Puck, you are totally out of position and you're dead as well. Beyond godlike once again. It is 12-0 to 9. And this Magnus is very happy that he was the one with the Aegis. I am still thinking there could be one big, like, it has to work at some point, right? The Retry picked up this awesome lineup for ganks and all that, and or for ganks, I said, what am I saying? For the wombo combo team fight, and they're just not able to do it. It feels like they're either over rushing things, or I don't know, something is not working out. Or of course, neXtPlease knows exactly what the Retry wants to do and is not allowing it to happen, which can very well be as well. The BKB is on now for the Magnus as well. Probably an AC next. An Assault Cuirass that is, as we have a Necronomicon level 3 already complete by the Nature's Prophet. Anti-Mage sitting on a Yash after his Battle Fury. And everybody is getting pretty fat on the side of neXtPlease, as they are now 12k gold ahead with about 17k experience ahead. Battle Fury now down for the Phraseless Void. Well, that took some time for him, but he has it nonetheless. It's quite far behind. And the thing is, he started out so well, right? Impale, run, Illusionist, run, blinks himself away. But he started out so well. He was winning that lane. Dream Coil still coming out. They're still trying to take down a Nyx Assassin, but in the end, just lose the pucks. Perhaps they can at least get themselves a Nyx Assassin in return. Great done. Good job for them. Crystal Maiden is gonna get safe though. The BKB RP comes out. PGG and Nubik both nuked down. PGG, yeah, there he goes as well. Ancient Operation, the last one surviving, and he just tries to teleport himself out. Gets out in time, but the only one to tell the tale. Yay, they got a Nyx Assassin, but they lost 4 heroes for that. They are so desperate for fights that they are willing to throw themselves at supports to try and get kills, only to get caught out by neXtPlease, who is apparently everywhere on the map and can just stop an attempt from the Retry in their tracks. A Chronosphere for just a solo Nyx Assassin? Not really worth it. But I think they know that too. I think they know very well in what kind of dire straits they are. Another silver lining, I guess, for the Retry is that once neXtPlease is gonna look to go high ground, it's gonna get easier to hit your Chronospheres. It's gonna get easier to go for that big wombo combo because, I mean, there will be pushing in on one of these 3 holes in the base, basically. So, Chronospheres overall are a bit easier to hit there. People are more clumped up when you try to go up on high ground. The whole thing, though, is really gonna rely on timing and precision and just communication as well. And there is actually today a new what's it called? A new episode of Dota 2 Reporter guy. The Dota 2 Reporter came out, and that exactly describes Dream Call Impale up on 2 though, and in comes the Magnus. RP's up on 1 only because Puck was already on the other side of his orb. Still in some trouble though. Poison Nova coming out as the Venomancer tries to do what he can. Nubik, he gets a Chronosphere up, gets the Anti-Mage as well as Magnus, but right now, I mean, they're just too tanky. They're just too damn tanky. The pause done, the unpause by the Timber Saw, which is kind of awkward. Nonetheless, red is down. There's no red in this team. Oh, we have an anti-maze disconnect. Oh, red light. I guess that's a good one. Bad-mannered unpause, by the way, coming out from PGG. But perhaps he didn't know. Kind of weird anyways. Nonetheless, the Chronosphere hit on 2. Wasn't able to follow up, but perhaps he was able to save his own life with that. It's going to be very tricky though, because he doesn't have mana for time-lapse. And Magnus is in the process of landing a shockwave that will probably kill him unless he backtracks. Some awesome damage coming out from that Keanu. And there comes the go again. Down goes Nubik. Nope. No, never mind. Anti-Mage just blinks forward and gets the kill. And that's going to be PGG still getting the Anti-Mages. Wicked 6 streak for him, but it still ends up in his death as well. In the end though, Puck was the one to live. He's sitting on a very awkward position. He can teleport out from that place, which is good for him. As we have Android in some trouble. Nature's Prophet is going to teleport forward. And Shockwave will be the killing blow from the Magnus. Still a kill for him, as it is a 3-for-3 on that fight. I think that is the best possible fight that the Retry could have hoped for. They did lose the Faceless Void. And they might actually lose the Puck as well. Some trouble here. Synergy trying to teleport out. No, just 2 clicks needed for taking down that Puck as he gets it. In the meantime, Age Separation is defending that bottom lane. But you know, if you're gonna have that big awesome team fight that I keep talking about, because that is the saving grace for the Retry, you're gonna have to make sure that there is actually gonna be a 5-man push in while you are all 5 alive. So you have to make sure that you don't get caught out and die, like they just did. Well. Oh, that big team fight, I am waiting for it. If that's not gonna happen, then NextPlease is gonna have this one in the pocket. As Timbersaw goes down again, this time on the bottom lane. Vendetta being used. Stage Separation ult, it's gonna still hit the Ice Blast on the Nature's Prophet, but he is not caring too much about that. Taking a look at the support items on the side of the Retry, we do have 1, 2, 3 sitting on the mechanism for his team. Faceless Void, we already saw him. He actually picked himself up the Mask of Madness, which inside his Chronosphere is great. If you can actually get a good Chronosphere off and get the time to attack, they're all building for that wombo combo then, I guess. Boots of Travel for the Puck so he can split push a bit more. But Scythe of Ice, for example, is very far away for this Puck. Venomancer has got the Gem of Truth, just trying to get some map control back. That's all he needs to do. Map control, get those wards up. And at the same time, we're 28 minutes into this game, and the Timbersaw, who was on the safe lane, has not managed to get himself a Bloodstone up, which is bad news for him. While, of course, NextPlease is running an amazing game right now. They have... I mean, the Magnus is pretty farmed. He's actually going to have his new item coming up, I think. Yeah, that's going to be Shiva's Guard, actually, ready for him. And we have the Crystal Maiden, who, you know, is a support, but he is higher net worth than the Timbersaw. Yes. Higher net worth than the Timbersaw, this Crystal Maiden is, with the Tranquil Boots and the Ogre Club. And perhaps some items in the... Yeah, the Vlad's there now made for his teammates as well. So that the Anti-Mage doesn't have to build that himself, because Anti-Mage is going for a heart as the next item. Just, all he has to build for is survive the Chronosphere, survive the wombo combo, because that is the chance that the Retry still have, and if you can survive the wombo combo, you'll get the game in your hands. Next assassin, we already saw him with the Force Staff and the Blink Dagger, as we have got Nature's Prophet just finishing up a Scythe of Ice, as we saw that popping up on the side of the screen. Oh, smoke already removed. They look for targets, but everybody's already out of their jungle. Everybody is home safe. Roshan is going to be up in a couple of seconds. And the Retry, they cannot afford to let NextPlease take their Roshan. I'm talking about that wombo combo, and if they get it, you don't want to have to deal with the same hero twice. And on top of that, a Chronosphere across the Roche Pit is of course a very decent place to have a fight with that Chronosphere. Everybody should be clumped up if they let themselves cut out, because NextPlease, you know, they're not dummies. They've played this game before. They know what the Retry has to do to get back into this game. Question is, Are they gonna play like it? It's very easy
Radiant's
to
top tower
just...
is under attack.
If you're ahead this much, it's very easy to just go for Roshan and expect nothing from the retry right now because they play so defensive, but they are gonna try to come in. We're waiting, of course, for the Faceless Void. He is gonna be the initiating factor. Nubik is the one to try and make things happen. At the same time, Magnus,
Radiant's top tower
he's
is
gonna
under
be
attack.
trying to get something done there too. He's already waiting for that RP, as we have got the Antimate soloing Roshan right now. They know that. The Chakram comes in as well. The Venomancer Ward has got the Vision up as well. Waiting for that Chronosphere. In comes an RP up onto Venomancer and PGG getting caught up with that. We do have a Hex up on Nubik inside his Chronosphere. Freezing Field from the Crystal Maiden. 4 heroes dead on the side of the retry. And the GG well played comes out. That is going to be our first game of the day. Our loser bracket match between the retry and neXtPlease, with aggression all over the place from neXtPlease. And this time they can actually make it work for them. They can continue with their aggression. As, I mean, there was a reason they dropped down to the loser bracket where they couldn't do that, but very nicely done. And that last desperation fight for the retry did not work out. Well played from them at the start. I did like their lanes, but weren't expecting the aggression coming out from neXtPlease, perhaps. I mean, I talked about the advantages that Crystal Maiden and Nyx Assassin would have if there was, you know, supports versus supports in the early game, and they made it worth it. They made it work out. We'll have ourselves another game in 45 minutes time. We're gonna have ourselves a best of 3 actually. It will be Roxkiss taking on neXtKZ. I will be joined by Vikerman for that match, so no solo cast for me, and that's good for you as well as for me. So yeah, stick around. I'll give you some music and commercials while we wait, but we should be having our game at 3 p.m, which is, like I said, it's in 45 minutes time. Roxkiss versus neXtKZ. That is a winner's bracket match, so that is indeed, like I said, a best of 3. So stick around, we'll be right back with more games of Dota 2. Don't go anywhere.